Hi, my name is Marty with Rolling Dice and Taking Names, and I want to talk about a game design aspect that I feel is often underappreciated and undervalued. Does underappreciated and undervalued mean the same thing? And that is game box inserts. You know those little plastic and cardboard devices that are inside your box that have little compartments to put all your bits and pieces and cubes and cards in separate locations to make them easy to find things or take out and set up, put away, and have their own little places to go. You know, those things. There are a lot of game box inserts that are very well designed and take all the components into consideration, and others not so much. So I was going to look at some of the games I have today and just give my thoughts on some that I think are pretty good and some that are maybe The first game I want to look at is the classic Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is your average looking box. Take the lid off and underneath it you are able to stack your player boards and game boards and rules nicely and neatly. But underneath that is a plastic insert with several compartments for storing various things. In here I happen to have all of my colonists and resources and victory points and bags in this large compartment. Got a compartment here for some gold. My buildings, my rolls go in here, my resource tokens go in here. Very easy to get things set up and put away when I'm done with it. Puerto Rico has a nice plastic insert with all the compartments to keep all your components separated and very well organized. But I think there's another aspect of the game box insert that we need to consider, and that is how does it handle travel? Many times our game boxes are not going to sit on the shelf and go straight to the table. We're going to take them to somewhere. We're going to take them to a friend's house, to a game store, to a convention. In that case, will your game box insert do its job during all that travel? Because you never know what you're going to run across. As you're driving, you may hit a pothole, or it may fall out of the bag in the back of the car. You may be in a convention, somebody accidentally knocks it off the table, or it may get thrown across the room. Why would somebody throw a game box across the room? Or maybe you live in an earthquake zone and you just have a tendency for game boxes to fall off your shelves from earthquakes. I guess that's for my California friends maybe. Regardless, there are many times that your boxes are going to go through all sorts of things as they travel that might mess up the components on the inside. So for a test, let's see how Puerto Rico holds up under just a simple little shake test. You know, a little shake here and there, a little shimmy, turning left, turning right. For some reason you're traveling and you turn upside down. Maybe you're in an amusement park or something like that. So after all that shaking and stuff, how does Puerto Rico hold up? All right, let's see how you did on the shake test. Take everything back out, go straight down to the components. Not bad at all. I had one of these guys that was sitting here come out, had a gold piece fall out. That's not bad. Oh, there is one more gold piece down inside here, but still, that's pretty good. It does its job. The player boards sit nice and firmly on top, hold everything in place in case things move around. So Puerto Rico, I would say, is a pretty good insert. So we just looked at an older game. How about a newer game like Vikings? Let's see what kind of insert it has in its box. Vikings looks like a standard game box. Take off the top. Again, on the top we have the rules. We have the main game board. Underneath, we have the plastic insert. On top, I got a place for the player boards. We have a big compartment here that has the canvas bag that holds all the meeples. I have another little plastic bag for holding all my tokens and player aid cards. The main part is back here, which holds the cardboard tiles that are used in the game. That's the main component of the game. Plus an area for some gold over here. Now, I'm concerned about the shake test I'm getting ready to do, because if these guys get messed up on transport, it's not the end of the world, but it'll take a lot of time sorting, and I'm kind of OCD when it comes to make sure they're oriented right. So I hope it passes the shake test. So let's find out if Vikings is going to pass that shake test or not. Oh, please don't let these tiles get messed up. Here we go. A little shake here, up there. Okay, so maybe we're in an aerobatic airplane and we kind of go upside down here and there, and maybe there's that earthquake we're talking about. So let's see how it looks. All right. Here we go. Not bad. I don't see a thing out of place out of here. Great job, Z-Man. That is a really nice insert there. So, hey, it looks like Vikings is very safe for all types of travel and environment. Deck building games and card building games are as big as ever. And as such, publishers need to create inserts that are able to keep all these cards separated and organized easily for setup and takedown. One such game that I just got recently is Trains from AEG. Let's check out its insert and see what it looks like. Now granted, Trains isn't just a box for cards. It also does have a game board in it, plus the rules obviously. It is a plastic insert like the others we have seen before. It has compartments in here for holding your wooden bits and keeping them all nice and neat. I have them in bags also. What I really appreciate this is, since it's a deck building game, you're using different cards each game. They did include card dividers, which makes it easy to find the cards you're looking for and being able to put together your resources to buy out there each time. Now you may notice there is a lot more space in this box than in the cards that I have. The reason? Expansions. So what they've done is they've included all this extra space in here in order to put the cards as you buy expansions, so all the cards can be kept in one box. I really also appreciate these little foam bits in here, because as I get the cards, they can be used to provide tension up against the cards so they don't fall over and get messed up. So with all that extra space, will Trains be able to survive the travel shake test? Let's find out. I really need to find something else to do during this time, because I know this probably looks really boring, so, well, that's probably good enough. Let's see what it looks like. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. Are the cards all in place? Not bad. Actually, that's really good. The cards did shift a little bit over, but they didn't fall out of their compartment. If this hadn't been here, I think we probably would have had a little bit more problems. So again, I appreciate the foam bits in here. So a great insert for keeping all your cards together, plus allow for future expansions. Hey, since we're talking about card games and deck building games, and we actually just looked at a game from AEG, let's look at another one of their games, Smash Up. Let's see how the insert compares in this one to what we just saw in Trains. Now Smash Up's box is a little bit smaller than Trains. It doesn't need to be as large because there is not a game board inside of it. But inside we have another plastic container with little dividers in between for putting your different cards. They don't have card dividers like they did in Trains. However, these little compartments are good enough for segregating your cards. They do have an extra space over here for expansions, so if I was to buy any expansions, I would put them here and be okay. Now, the engineer is going to come out of me right here, and this kind of concerns me a bit, is how low these plastic dividers are right here. This is going to allow the center of gravity on these cards to be a lot lower than what I would like it to be, and thus, when we transport these cards and they get shaken around a bit, I'm afraid they're going to tumble out of their slots. But there's only one way to find out: the test. All right, will this survive the shake test? Let's find out. Wait a minute. I got an idea how I can make this a little bit more fun. All right, let's see how this bad boy did. Here we go. And that is why right there I am not a mechanical or civil engineer, because I did not figure that out correctly. Those cards are fully intact, no problem. They didn't move around at all. So once again, another good insert by AEG. Next up, let's look at a game that increases the count of cards and components. And let's see how well somebody can design an insert for that. Let's look at Lords of Waterdeep. Lords of Waterdeep comes in a pretty large box, but it needs to, because inside is a pretty large game board, and then, as I mentioned, a lot of components with the player cards, all the tokens or meeples for the workers or the agents, the cards here. There's multiple different types of cards. There's scoring tokens. There's a lot going on in this box, but if you look, there is a spot for everything, and this is one of my favorite inserts in a box. One thing I think is unique is just how you get the cards out. if you notice, there's like a heel underneath here that allows you to take the cards and basically push down on one end and then pick them up. And there's a compartment for a couple of like the first player token and an additional meeple. Over here, it works the exact same way. Another compartment there. You have all your buildings nice in this own little compartment. A slot for everything else, down to the 100-point counter for each of the different colors. All these fit in here nice and snug. They've got the little player markers for each one of those, your money, victory points, and then like I said, the wells for all the different components that are the workers that are in the game, or agents that are in the game. They're not workers. These are the workers. That's the agents. Don't tell Tony, he'll get me for that. So that's a lot of stuff in this box. I don't know how this is going to go, but there's only one way to find out. We must apply science. Let's see how this came out. Whoa, not too good. Looks like we had cards sliding all over the place. All the different kind of cards mixed up together. Yeah, those victory point tokens didn't hold out too well. Now all these pieces stayed in place. None of these shifted locations and everything, so it looks like it was just the cards. It's not too bad, but it's probably one of those things that you probably don't want to dance around with a lot as you're gaming. Not that people take their games out and dance. That would be kind of weird. So again, I think it's a well-designed, so it's a well-designed box, but again, you just do have to be careful on transport. The next insert I want to look at isn't necessarily one game's insert, but it's a whole series of games inserts. And that's the insert given to us from Fantasy Flight Games. You might already know the one I'm talking about. The one I'm going to look at today is just like a lot of other Fantasy Flight games. I'm going to look at that one from Netrunner. This is really about your standard size Fantasy Flight Games box. I've taken everything out of this box except for the insert because that's what I really want to look at, is this guy. This piece of cardboard here, that's that. So typically when you get a game from them, they'll have a bunch of cards or tokens maybe sitting right here. You have to look under the flaps and find other stuff. They get it all in the box nice and neat and nice in bags. The problem is getting it back in this box in that same sort of order. And it's insane. I don't know why Fantasy Flight, one of the largest, if not the largest game publishers, continues to use this insert. I know, there's cost reasons. I'm sure this is very cheap. They just use the same plan for everything. But it's not very convenient for us as a gamer, as we must find other means to be able to store games inside this style of box. Seriously, what is this? What, is there even a name for this? An accordion? What? So while I'm not going to give a shake test for the Fantasy Flight games, I've got several games over here, 4 or 5 of them, including games like Eldritch Horror and Descent that had this same sort of insert in here. And okay, I wasn't totally honest with you. I am going to do another Fantasy Flight game, and it's one that came with that same insert as before. And that game is going to be Eldritch Horror. And what I did was replace what was inside from Fantasy Flight with some custom inserts. Let's see how they look. So if you ever get a game with an insert that just doesn't meet your needs, you might have to go the custom route and make something yourself. That's what has been done here. So here's a pack with the ancient ones in it, the rules, the game board, but underneath are custom trays and compartments made out of foam board. Now what's so great about this are these trays are not only good for storage and transportation, they're good because they can be taken out of the box and used during the game itself. Likewise, this tray that we have for the cards, if you notice, there's no side to it. Again, great for pulling out so you can draw cards during the game. When you're done, you put it back in here and they're easily protected and won't go anywhere. There's different trays with different size compartments in it to hold dice and other tokens and whatnot. There's a section back here that's left so we can put a bag that has our monster tokens in it. place here left for cards, and they're sleeves, so there's enough room left for that. And by the way, this also has the expansion in it too, Forsaken Lore, so there was enough room to even hold those components. This particular insert was made by our good friend Robert Searing, who also helps out at the Dice Tower. He does a lot of behind the scenes work, such as on the website and graphics and whatnot. And what he's done is he's created an online store and custom designed a lot of these inserts for different styles of games. So when he came up with this one, he sent us this one for us to try out and let us give some feedback on it, and we just really enjoyed it. And if you want to, look down in the description of this video, and I'll put a link to his website in case you want to check out his other stuff. But he's not the only one. There are other companies that make custom inserts too, maybe out of foam board or for wood. Or if you're crafty enough, you can do it yourself. Just foam board and some glue, or take some wood and cut it and make sections here, or just regular cardboard. You can do that too. So lots of times the custom way might be the best way for you for a particular game. So even though this game has a custom tray in it, I still feel I need to give it the same test I've given the others. Now, I'm sure none of you want to see me do any more dancing or anything. Really? Okay. Okay, one last time for you guys, I'll give it the dance test. Is that all right? Oh, okay.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style.
Let's see if Eldritch Horror survived the Gangnam Style test. Here we go. Ooh, we got a little bit of card mix up in here. Not too bad. Some of the tokens came out. Some of the characters came out. We got a little bit of mix up, but we can live with it. A little bit straightened up and it's good to go. So for a custom insert, it really held up on its own. The last game I want to talk about is another Euro game with a lot of components that handles their insert a little bit differently. I'm talking about Terra Mystica. Let's see what they do. So this box is big, it's heavy, we know there's a lot of stuff in here. Let's see what they did. Bags of components. That's right. There was no insert in here. When I opened this game, there was a lot of bags with the wooden components in it. There were the sheets of cardboard that you have to punch out to get those components out of. At the bottom was the game board, the player boards, and the rules on the bottom. And that was pretty much it. And this, a collection of plastic bags for you to put your components in. That's right. There's no cardboard insert, there's no plastic insert, just a bunch of storage bags to keep your stuff separated and organized. And you know what? I am A-okay with this. I have no problem because I can get this stuff out, throw it out on the table, give each person their own colors. I have them separated in such a certain way so that the game board is easy to set up. And when I'm ready to go, I'll start playing. When I'm done, throw everybody a bag. They put their stuff in there, throw it back in the box, and I'm done. Now, one reason you can do this is because there's no thin cardboard cards in here. If there was, this might be a problem because those can get bent. But these are a little bit thicker cardboard, and so like the little player aids cards, they're not going to go anywhere. So actually, not having an insert is a solution for a game company, and in games like this, it works, and I think it works just fine. So there's my look at box inserts for games. As we've seen, there are multiple solutions that can be used in games. Some games use a plastic insert where they have a location for each one of their components so you can keep them all nice and separated. There are some games that include plastic components or inserts so that you can accommodate future expansions, with the idea is that you buy expansions, you can put everything into one box. We even saw one game company that didn't include an insert at all, instead gave us a lot of plastic bags so that we separate out all the pieces and organize them that way and keep them in their own little separate bags. Whatever it is, just recognize that there is somebody sitting at a computer somewhere right now designing an insert for a game on their CAD system or whatever, trying to make it as easy for us to organize our games as possible. So we need to just give them a little round of applause for what they do for the gaming industry, because they do help us out a lot in many instances. And I'm sure I've missed a lot of great inserts. And so if you would kindly comment in the sections below and let me know what inserts I missed. What inserts do you like that work really well? Have you danced with any of your games to see if they survive the shake test? And one last thing. What is this called? Is there a name for this? I mean, is there an official name for this, or is there like an accepted name? Because I'm not sure what it is. And if there is one, let me know. And if there's not one, let's come up with one so we can reference this guy in the future, because I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of it. Thanks for watching. So I am going to look at a Fantasy Flight game. But I'm looking at a Fantasy Flight game that had that same insert as I just showed you, but it's been replaced with some custom inserts. And that game is Eldritch Horror. That's upside down.